Marvel's fifth phase is finally upon us, and after its criticism of the fourth phase, the first project of the fifth phase is shaping up to be an exciting one. Of course, that project being Antman and the Wasp: Quantumania. So, will this project follow the patterns of the fourth phase and underdeliver, like Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness or Thor: Love and Thunder? Or will it become a massive blockbuster akin to the movies from the third phase? Well, I think Ant-Man will be the best Ant-Man movie yet, and maybe even the best Marvel project in a long time. As we learned from Endgame, the Avengers used the quantum realm to travel between timelines, and whenever time travel happens, it basically creates a new multiverse. Therefore, because of that, we know that the quantum realm exists in between the multiverses. So, the Antman and Wasp: Quantumania trailer was released, and we learned that the Pym team got sucked into the quantum realm, and the story is basically a Wizard of Oz type story. And from that, many might think it's a mediocre concept. But once you dive into it, it has a lot going on. And these are 5 reasons I think Antman and Wasp: Quantumania will surprise you.
5.
Let the fourth phase be like a gas leak year. So, what's done is done, and I think Marvel learned a lot. They experimented a lot with fourth phase through Disney Plus, and I think this movie sets the stage for the upcoming Avengers movies, simply because Kang in it. But in addition to that, Bob Chapek was replaced as Disney CEO as Disney's share was down 44%, and Disney brought back Rob Iger to replace him, who was essentially responsible for assembling the Earth's Mightiest Heroes to begin with. I think from a marketing standpoint, this movie will be a lot more bigger, and I think there's a lot of good things going on with Marvel in general, and it just needs to have a little bit of time. There's been some reports online that say that Marvel's aware of their situation and their criticism of Phase 4, and they're going to refocus on quality over quantity. But all these posts I see are not from really credible sources, so I don't know how truthful that is. But either way, I think a fresh start is what the MCU needs right now.
4.
Coming in at number 4 is raising the stakes for an Ant-Man movie. Now, when we look at the first 2 previous Ant-Man movies, they were basically comedy movies where, of course, there's been comedy in almost every Marvel movie. I think this one's a little different because Ant-Man they casted a comedian to be it, right? Paul Rudd is known for his comedic roles, and you can see it throughout both Ant-Man movies. The comedy is what really sets it apart from it being more of a comic book movie. Of course, it's a comic book movie, but yeah, nothing overly massive is happening in either of these Ant-Man movies. In the first one, we're just introduced to Ant-Man, Pym Tech, and everything like that. Ends with just Yellow Jacket getting sucked into the quantum realm. And then in the second movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it has Ghost, but nothing really matters. I think this movie was more like used to lighten the mood after Infinity War, when half the universe was snapped. So I think with this one, we already have Kang, and I think this Kang is going to be a really big deal. This sets the stage for everything to come. So I think this Ant-Man movie has massive stakes and is going to be a plot mover for the entire 4th, 5th, 6th. This one stands out as a movie you have to watch to really understand the next Avengers movies.
3.
Coming in at number 3 is that the lore with the universe within the quantum realm. So, we know in the comics that Kang creates a city called Chronopolis. Actually, this storyline has been shown in video games like Lego Marvel 2 Superheroes, or whatever the name of that Lego Marvel game is. But basically, he takes the universe, makes one giant city with different time lapses, and this could potentially be Kang's ultimate goal. We don't know yet. Or maybe Chronopolis is the city we see in the trailer. This seems there's a massive army, and I believe that this is Antman, Kang's army. And Janet knows that Kang is there, and in the trailer we can definitely see her hesitation and fear of going back into the quantum realm. So this is a pretty big deal that she's back there and she knows what's going on. She'll definitely act like a guide and get a lot of screen time because of that. And then of course Yellow Jacket. So as I mentioned previously, that Yellow Jacket in Ant-Man 1 was sucked into the quantum realm. So this movie takes place in the quantum realm. Maybe we'll see some Yellow Jacket.
2.
Number 2 is the multiverse. So the multiverse is here. We know this, and I think this movie is going to be all about the multiverse. When we look at a couple of different factors here, for one, in the trailer we can see that there's multiple Ant-Men going on. Is that just different Ant-Mans all doing the same quest, or what's going on with this Ant-Man scene here in the trailer? It looks pretty exciting. Also, that in Loki, Kang implies that there is like a time loop, as when he dies he says, "I'll see you soon," implying that he'll be back in this situation. And then the circles. When you look at this movie, there's tons of circles. Now there's a circle on Ant-Man's uniform in the chest. He's not Iron Man. There are circles all over the city. There's circles on Kang's little platform when we see him in the trailer. There's circles in Loki in his window. And then in the scene that seems to be Janet, it's all these circles, or rings even, if you will. So there's definitely something going on with circles. And just one thing to keep in mind, that Tony wasn't able to invent time travel due to the theory of the loop. Also, like Shang-Chi's rings are older than time. I think it's kind of implied that Kang created these rings. So something to do with circles is going on. And again, I think it all starts with this movie, and I think moving forward, or even retroactively looking at any of the MCU Phase 4 movies, anytime there's a circle, maybe make note of it, especially if it's a setting or if it matters.
1.
So the last one being Kang. I think this is massive, having Kang introduced right away. Sure, we had him in briefly in Loki, but this is a different Kang. In Loki, we are introduced to Kang, who tells us that this isn't the first time there's a multiverse. There's actually a multiverse war going on, or at least was going on. But basically what the story goes is that every time there's a multiverse, there's a Kang that discovers multiverse and then declares war amongst each other. However, at the end of the day, the Kang from Loki wins the war and makes the sacred timeline. This results in only one Kang being around. If any other Kang is in it, then they will cease to exist, because there's only one timeline. So I think this Kang we see in this trailer is a Kang from the Kang War, who escaped the last Kang War and went into the quantum realm. So he's been in the quantum realm for thousands of years, just biding his time, waiting for his chance to escape, and thus the plot. He's giving Ant-Man a opportunity to escape, thus him escaping as well, of course, right? So what do you guys think of this list? Do you think the MCU will follow its current course? Do you think this movie will be good? Do you think this movie will be the best Ant-Man movie? Well, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Please be sure to subscribe. And thanks for watching, and check you guys in the next video.